Oh boy, did this Zero to Hero challenge go really wrong, but rather than scrapping the video altogether, I figured I'd try and show a more realistic side of a 7-day Mythic Plus challenge, so I'm hopping on the bandwagon, so to speak. My Retribution Paladin has been unplayed for a few seasons, and I was curious just how far I could take him in 7 days of grinding Mythic dungeons. So I got my gear up to a minimum of item level 424, checked my Mythic rating, it's at 0, and I got right to it. On day 1, I got accepted pretty quick into a +2 Everbloom, and the dungeon started off with a bang, with me grabbing aggro immediately and dying. Then, about halfway through the dungeon, our healer just went AFK without warning, so things are definitely going great for me so far. Luckily though, we were able to take down the rest of the trash and the bosses fairly easily, and the group wound up kicking the healer before the final boss. We got a 3 chest timer, and my reward was a +2 Everbloom key. So rather than running it back, I was accepted instead into a +3 Waycrest Manor. This dungeon was a breeze and completely painless. We did have 1 death on the first boss, I'm not even sure how it happened, but after that we just steamrolled right on through. I didn't get any loot from the chest, but I made sure to change out my key for a different one, this time a Tall Desar. However, once again, rather than pushing my own key, I joined a +3 Fall of Ganon, and this was an insanely fast key, as expected for a +3, I guess. Some bosses we killed in less than a minute, and the Iridikron boss fight at the end was trivial. We only saw a few of his mechanics. Now on to day 2, which came much later than day 1, contrary to what you might think. I actually forgot about this challenge for a week or two, and then decided to come back and knock the rest of the 6 days out right in a row. Or so I thought. So maybe this is really day 16. It was a Tuesday, so I checked my vault and got some tier gear from the raid finder from a few weeks back, and I was given a +2 Waycrest Manor key. Before hopping into a dungeon, I clicked the subscribe button. I went to the revival catalyst and changed my chest piece into a set piece to get myself the 2 set before queuing up. I got into a group for a +5 Darkheart thicket in just a couple minutes. We slammed through this dungeon with ease, and the trash fell down pretty quickly, and I can say the same for each boss. The dragon boss was fun because we pulled an ad into it, but that was the most exciting thing that happened in this run. We got the 3 chest timer at the end, and I got a wrist upgrade. After that, I tried to push my own Waycrest Manor key, but after 20 minutes of waiting with no tank joining, the group fell apart. So I joined a +5 Rise of Murozond instead, which filled up rather quick. Once again, this dungeon felt like a walk in the park, and we really took the bosses down quickly this time. Grom was taken down in a total of 47 seconds, and we made quick work of the final boss Dios as well. I'm really enjoying the Dawn of the Infinites dungeons being part of the Mythic Plus rotation. Curious to know what you think and maybe what your favorite dungeon is this season. Let me know in the comments. After the dungeon was over, I got an upgrade to my hands slot and went immediately to go convert it into tier gear. I started day 3 by buying some runes, vials, and food off of the auction house, and afterwards my fiance invited me into her +15 Darkheart Thicket key, which made me feel pretty lucky, and hopefully it would give me a huge boost in this challenge. We had a few deaths on the trash heading into the first boss, but our time and our DPS was good. 2 of us, including myself, died to the first boss's mechanics, and then the tank rage quit. So that's my first Mythic dungeon failed so far. Real big bummer. However, serves me right for trying to skip ahead and join someone else's high key. And that was unfortunately all the time I had for day 3. Day 4 was also a bust since I didn't have any time to play at all after my day job, as we had some visitors in town that were staying with us and I was just simply too busy. So, on to day 5. On day 5, I was immediately accepted into a +8 Fall of Ganon, and we started off with a big pull into the first boss that went off surprisingly well, even though we did have 1 death. However, we still succeeded, and the first boss and the second boss were both easy, even though once again we have some of our DPS die each fight. The Blight of Ganon provided no challenge at all, and now we were on to Iridikron. Once again, no problem at all here, and this group did a great job with the mechanics. Once we downed Iridikron and skipped the cutscene, it was a +3 timer. Good stuff. Right after this, I was accepted into a +9 Black Rook hold, so I guess the average level of Mythic that I'm getting accepted into is increasing, and we haven't run into any problems so far. We smoked the first boss, we were doing decent on trash until the healer DC'd on the pole, and a DPS decided to rage quit right after that. The healer had more internet problems on the second boss, which caused a wipe, and then the tank rage quit, and, well, that was that. Oh well. Day 6 started off strong. I was immediately accepted into a plus 13 Tall Desar. I was actually surprised by this massive jump, but I was ready. Each boss went smoothly with no deaths, but we did have one bad pull from me, which led to us having 3 deaths in total in the dungeon. However, after cleaning up the final boss, we plus 2'd it, which made me confident that I could complete a plus 15 competently even at this low item level. I spent all my flight stones upgrading my gear and got accepted into a plus 8 Everbloom. Given that I was able to clear plus 13 with ease, I'm sure you can imagine how this plus 8 went. No problems on any trash pulls, first boss was easy, as was the second. We had a death on the third boss, not sure how, and we cleaned up on the final boss. The awesome part was I got a helmet, which I was really hoping for, as I could use the revival catalyst to transform this into a set piece, meaning now I had my full 4-piece set bonus. This was the last run of day 6, as unfortunately I started to come down with a mean head cold in real life. So day 7 came a few days after day 6 because of sickness, and I wanted to close the challenge off strong. Because I was so delayed, it was Tuesday again, and I was able to visit the vault and get a great upgrade. The first run of the day was a plus 8 Black Rook hold. We wiped on a random trash pull, but other than that, we slammed it out and ended up plus 3 in the key. And that was that. My head cold got bad and I was knocked out for the rest of the day. And that concludes the 7-day challenge. So a wild ride and hardly a real 7-day challenge. But even so, how did I do? Well, my Mythic rating is 858, up from 0. Not horrible, but not great either. Certainly not Keystone Hero. My item level is 442, which is 18 item levels up from 424, and I have the 4-piece set bonus. In total, I completed 9 dungeons successfully and failed 2 of them, and one attempt never even got off the ground. I definitely want to do this challenge again in the future with better planning and without getting sick. Let me know what you thought of this realistic version of the challenge overall, and tell me which class you'd like me to do this on next, perhaps when Season 4 comes along. And that time, we'll do it for real with some better planning. Thanks for watching, and if you're a subscriber, thank you for being a subscriber, and if you're not one, maybe consider it if you enjoy what you saw. Take care.